Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in. This is Gloria Lee, the moderator for the show Women of Courage. Wherever you are in the world, I need you to know one thing right now. You are amazing. I know you might be upset. I know you might be hurting. And I know you might be frustrated. I know because all of these things happened to me. I was homeless for 2 years, and all I had was a computer, my son, and a car. I want you to know you still have a purpose in life, and it is my job to help you believe that again. Do you want to believe? Can you see that the divorce was not meant to take you out? Can you believe that the lost house and the lost job is a setup for something greater? By the end of this broadcast, you'll be injected with so much that you cannot help but believe again. And I am going to help you do just that. Are you ready? I got some things I want to share with you. And I will even make suggestions on books and activities that you can implement, which will ultimately bring healing and wholeness to you. If you are ready to be healed, if you're ready to be whole, just jot down the pointers I give and watch your life transform. No matter what happened, no matter whose fault it was, today is a new day, and your time to live and be free is now. Join me in this journey to wholeness. Your time for total healing is now. Today you shall recover. Wholeness, healness, and peacefulness is in the mind. That is where all battles for life end and begin. The Women of Courage show is being broadcast by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries to help you problem solve, to help you dream again, to help you believe that anything is possible. We want you to believe that you do not have to marry the first man you meet just to get someone to take care of you. You do not have to live a life of drudgery. You can educate yourself. All you have to do is learn to read competently. We want you to take a chance on yourself. Stop believing all the soothsayers around you that have never left a state in their lives. People who do not have courage to fly. People who only think of lying, cheating, and stealing. You can live an exciting life. All you have to do is believe that you can make your dreams come true. You do not have to go to bed with someone you despise day in and day out. You have the right to marry someone that you can talk to someone that believes in you and has faith in you as a human being. In other words, you do not have to settle for just anyone. But what you must do is strive toward your goal. You must be goal oriented. You must organize yourself. You must be clear about what you want in life and why you want such a life. All of us are made up of dreams. As our dreams unfold in our lives, our spirit soars. Realizing our dreams becomes a problem because oftentimes we are beaten down by our friends and family. We are beaten down at school by people laughing at us because of our shoe size, our ear size, our breast size, the clothes we wear, etc. We are beaten down by people saying nothing will come of our lives. We are beaten down when our mothers and grandmothers constantly say that we're going to be just like our father, an inmate in prison. Many of us are also discouraged when our mothers are inattentive. She is wrapped up in her new boyfriend. But life anew is possible. It is my job to encourage you to go as far as you can dream and as far as your dreams can take you. It is my job to get you to believe in life again. I am sick and tired of people failing at life just because they are around negative speaking and negative acting people. Do not let the failure of other people make you lose confidence in yourself. Yes, you may be surrounded by poverty, but you must look for a way out. The book, If You Believe in God, You Do Not Belong in Prison, will help you. What you must do above all else is learn to read competently. You must read, read, and read. Anyone who laughs at you for reading, you need to leave that person alone. I do not care if it's your mother. Anyone who discourages you, you are to stop all association. Man is not different than plants. We need encouragement to grow as plants need water to thrive. You are to leave foolish, stupid people alone. Their ignorance will weigh you down or even get you killed. Sit down and think how you can avoid these people, especially if they're in your family. If you are overwhelmed with the tiring feeling that feels as if you're carrying a bag of stone around every morning when you get out of bed and think how you'll have to spend another living life you're not passionate about, the books I suggest are the perfect solution for your unique needs. Not only will we help you realize why these feelings overwhelm you and what you can do to change it, but they will also teach you how to live a life of strength, courage, fearlessness in order to realize all of your dreams. If you are lacking the attitude and psychology, proper resource or vision to make your dreams a reality, combined with dissatisfaction with the execution of your plans, but you remain firmly dedicated to making your ambition a reality and creating the life you deserve, you will certainly derive the most benefit from professional, incredible content within these books. Contents that will assist you in achieving the results that you are after. You are never to give up on yourself. Are you ready to leave your future to chance? Of course not. Take your life in your hand and learn all the necessary tools, mindset, strategies used by the men and women of courage, used in order to live the life of their dream. Change your life with our book starting today. Before we begin, we're going to take a few moments to collect ourselves and to relax before we engage into our discussion. What we need to do is to focus now on bringing positive energy into our lives and into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We have all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our lives will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we can do this is by changing our outlook, meeting every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism, and once you do this, you will see a change in yourself. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life. Family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons why your life is amazing. You will see the change. You will be changed. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful and think positive.
When you wake up this morning, I want you to think about a few things. In your life, what makes you happy? Is it family, relationships? Is it working or building your career? Is it school or education? What makes you happy every day? What makes you eager to start your morning? Now, while you're doing this, I want you to block any negative thoughts that you have. This is the time of day where you begin to invite positive thoughts into your mind. I want you to think about gratitude, being thankful for the things that you have in your life. Being thankful that you woke up this morning, that you have a job, a place to sleep. Being thankful that you have people around you that truly love and support you. Now make sure when you walk through today, you do it with a positive mind and live by the law of attraction. Believe 100% that positive things will happen throughout the day. And even if things don't go as planned, do not spend time focusing on that. Everything that you want in your life can be achieved. And it's up to you to go out and make it happen. And remember, express positive energy and you will get positive things back in your life. This is how you live by the law of attraction.
Today, I would like to address an epidemic that has plagued our society for far too long. A silent battle that has been raging against members of our sex in the shadow, and a war that we are finally declaring on our abusers. That is domestic violence. Statistics show that 1 in 3 American women are reported to have experienced domestic violence or stalking in the course of their lifetime. As terrifying as this statistic is in its numerical form, what scares me is the fact that if I were to apply it to this room alone, close to 100 of us would fall into the category of a potential victim. It is easy to forget that abuse actually has a face, abuse has a name, and abuse has an identity when we are confronted with statistics. And even when we picture victims of abuse, we are certain that such a fate could never befall us. The thought never crosses our mind that the grieving widow at our funeral could be the one who set the date with a bullet or one beating too many in the first place. Putting a face to the reality that this victim, in recognizing that she could be our friend, family member, co-worker, or stranger you see buying cargo shorts in the line at Target, is the first step in recognizing the signs of abuse in behavior of our male counterparts. Sadly, however, abusive behavior is a lot harder to recognize than you think, being unknown even to sufferers until it is too late. Due to its very nature, domestic violence is secretive and difficult to recognize, both the outsider and the victim's perspective before it's too late. Abusers are manipulative, deceitful, charming, and are also appear to be the loving, protective father or husband in public settings with the abuse continues to occur behind closed doors. Let me say this again. The abuser is manipulative and deceitful, charming, and they are also appear to be the loving, protective father or husband in a public setting, with the abuse continuing behind closed doors. One of the earliest signs of abuse is that of the abuser cutting their parents off from the outside world. They do not want their partners to be influenced by others. They want to control the entire household. The abuser often prevents these women from spending time with their family and friends. They end up manipulating them to quitting their job or moving to a new city away from any form of support. I'm going to repeat this again. One of the earliest signs of abuse is that of the abuser cutting their partner off from the outside world, often preventing their partner from spending time with family and friends, manipulating their partner to quitting their job or moving to a new city away from any form of support. Abusers intentionally alter circumstances so that every aspect of their partner's life can be controlled by the abuser. And the abuser intentionally alters the circumstance that of every aspect of their partner's life so they can control their lives. They try discouraging or preventing any form of financial independence or any form of opinion of any kind. Furthermore, the abuser, when things go wrong, is always the victim who is to blame for the disruption, even if this is not the case. My goal today is to leave you with the tools to understand: 1. It is never, ever the victim's fault. 2. The victim deserves to be safe. 3. The victim, you are able to leave before it's too late. My listeners, I'm not going to say that leaving an abusive partner is easy. I am not going to say that when it comes to salvation and freedom, because that is not the case. The law has neglected women for so many years and continues to do so by not taking women's accusations seriously and offering minimal penalties for the master manipulators commonly called abusers. Combined with the fact that 70% of abused women who manage to successfully leave their partners are inevitably murdered or aggressively stalked by their partners. Such is the devastating fact that befell Miss Pamela Dunn of Massachusetts. I researched her history, and I'm speaking to you today because I want you to understand what this woman endured. She was not only abused by her husband, she was abused by the court system. She was abused by the police who didn't help her. Miss Dunn was a young woman in her early 20s who, like many women at the high risk of domestic abuse by being between the ages of 16 and 24, was trapped in an abusive marriage. She had attempted to leave the marriage many times before and had finally managed to do so. But leaving was not the happy utopia that is portrayed by the media or those unaware of the psychological and physical and financial restraints often constructed by the abusers to make certain that their partner will forever remain under their control, and that if they were to leave, they would have nothing to lose and would stalk the victim to whatever lengths necessary to regain the control. Dunn was aware of these dangers. She had experienced them, and being pregnant at the time, refused to allow herself or her baby to become trapped in a toxic environment that her marriage had become. She filed a case with the local police department and approached the court for a restraining order against her estranged husband, who just a few years earlier she believed had loved her. She wanted what this country prides itself in: freedom for bravery, but this was not received by her. judge in her case blatantly told her she was wasting the court's time and that she had been said to scold her for seeking protection from her husband. The judge's callousness and rudeness and hostility was traumatic enough, but what proved the fatal mistake was his assigning the abuser the absolute minimum suspended sentence for a case of this nature. Within 5 months following the hearing, Miss Dunn was shot and stabbed and had her body left on a nearby dump by the very man she sought protection from by the courts. In other words, the court proceeded to allow her husband freedom, and they didn't give a damn whether he killed her or not. Paul Dunn was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. However, he committed suicide not long after the sentencing. My question is, why did there have to be a dead body in order for the legal system to sit up and take our sister's report seriously? Why does the violence have to be fatal to be recognized as real? Cases like that of Miss Dunn are proof that we are unable to trust the law to protect us, to trust the police to protect us, to trust judges to protect us in this war. We are, for the most part, on our own. Cannot leave it until it's too late to take action. We must be prepared each and every day to run. This philosophy is the foundation of our teaching of the Women of Courage show and the Women and Restoration Ministry. And it is a system of preparation that any woman and every woman who enters into any form of relationship needs to adopt and live for. You are always to be prepared to run. Some women may protest and laugh at my saying, my significant other is sweet and charming. He would never do anything like this to me. This may be true now. He may just be a sweet, kind-hearted soul. But there is always the chance, no matter how great or small, that he could change and turn on you in a blink of an eye. No woman walks into an abusive relationship without initially completely trusting her partner. And should you be unfortunate enough to be one of the 100 women in this audience tonight whose statistics prove that you will be abused or stalked in your lifetime, these small steps could one day save your life. I say again, you must always be prepared to run. You are to financially prepare yourself. Make a secret bank account that only you know about and start saving. If it's $2 a month, I don't care. That's okay. But at least start building a platform to support yourself should you need to run on your own or run with a child. Prepare a pack of clothing, flashlight, non-perishable snacks to hide in a compartment in your car or in an area easily accessible to you and you alone. Should you need to get away quickly, you will need to be able to survive out of the public eye and in unrecognizable clothes to deter immediate danger. Other things that you need to store should include school records, birth certificates, and any official documentation for you or your children. You need to start a new life elsewhere, particularly out of the state. You are to drop off the face of the earth. You need to disappear. Start playing a secret game with your children so they will know how to forget who they are, where they come from, and who their parents are. They have no family. They do not know where they come from. You need to remain as untraceable as possible with the ability to sustain yourself with little or no contact with the outside world. If and when you decide to run, the most important rule is to leave the state and put as much distance between you and the abuser as possible. There must be absolutely no memory, experience, or hunch tying you to your place of hiding. We as women need to come together to compensate for the lack created by the judicial system's failure to protect us. In South Africa, there's a saying that has become iconic in the woman's struggle against oppression, and that reads, "You strike a woman, you strike a rock." Ladies, if you are to come together and unite against this evil, they will be striking a mountain. If you are one in three, I want you to know that you are not a statistic and that you have an army behind you. I also encourage you to seek out counseling and women's shelters for women of abusers should you ever find yourself in a destructive situation. Violence cannot be summed up as just a fact of life. I'm here to tell you that you not only are going to stop what is happening to us, we are going to make certain that no woman ever feels powerless again. I leave you with this poem. The poem is entitled "Stand Up, American Woman, Stand Up. Your Time Has Come." Before I introduce the poem, I want to say this to you. Every time you feel like you cannot make it, that things are too hard and you cannot endure anymore, please remember these words from a famous American woman. Katharine Hepburn, who was born in 1909 and died in 2003, she said this: "Life is to be lived. If you have to support yourself, you had bloody well better find some way that is going to be interesting. And you don't want to do that by sitting around wondering about yourself."
Women have been lying to themselves for centuries about domestic violence and sexual assault, believing if I am nice, I will be safe. Whatever you do, you need courage. Whatever course you decide upon, there is always someone to tell you you are wrong. There are always difficulties arising that tempt you to believe your critics are right. To map out a course of action and follow it to an end requires some of the same courage that a soldier needs. Peace has its victories, but it takes brave men and women to win them. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Abraham Lincoln did not go to Gettysburg having commissioned a poll to find out what could sell at Gettysburg. There were no people with percentages for him, cautioning him about this group or that group for what they found in exit polls a year earlier. When will we have the courage of Lincoln? Robert Coles.
I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now for my break.
You need to live life with a purpose. You need to spend the time needed to explore, to find your true passion. There are so many unhappy people in this world not willing to make a change. There are so many unhappy people not focusing on the big picture. 1 out of 3 people are happy with their lives. Think about that for a second. 70% of the people you see every day are not happy. And the majority of that has to do with purpose. People are programmed, wired to be okay with the minimum. People stay in jobs they're not passionate about. They date people who don't support them, hang out with people who don't help them grow. This can't be you. You need to spend the time to discover what your true calling is. What are you passionate about? What do you see yourself doing to make your mark? Are you in a job right now that you're truly happy with? Do you wake up every morning excited to start your day? If not, that's okay. You know now this isn't fulfilling you. But what are you gonna do about it? Are you willing to make a change to help reach your goals? If you are, it needs to start now. Because this won't happen overnight, finding your true calling. But once you do, you will see how everything changes. You will begin to see the quality of your life increase. All those problems you had, they slowly fade. You begin to see how powerful life is with a purpose. Anything that you want in this life can be obtained. You just need to believe. Believe in yourself. You are strong. You are beautiful. You are resilient. You are what we call the women of courage. And your time is now. There are no victims in this life. So I'm asking you, are you ready to make a change? Are you ready to fight for what you want? Are you ready to fight for your dreams? If you are, it starts now. This is the Women of Courage.
You can visit touchedbythelight.us and learn what our books have to offer to you. After our broadcast, you should go to YouTube and watch our video for a second and third time. This will reinforce the information that we are discussing. When you watch our videos on YouTube, it would be helpful to us if you would subscribe to the channel Touched by the Light Publishing. This way, you will be reminded when we publish another video. And if our videos are helpful to you, tell a friend or a coworker. Thank you so much. Remember, if you miss one of our shows, you can visit our YouTube channel at Touched by the Light Publishing to watch and listen to previous episodes of Women of Courage. Thank you.
Having a goal or a plan to accomplish something isn't enough. You need to dig deeper than that. You need to tap into your subconscious to begin to reprogram your mind. And you do this through positive affirmations. Short statements that you repeat every day, regardless of your goal, how big or little. Whether your goal is to make more money, be a better boyfriend or girlfriend, or find a better job, whatever your goal is, you need to come up with short, positive statements about that goal and repeat it each morning. Start by doing this for 5 minutes. And once you begin to do this, you will start to see how the subconscious and conscious mind can work together. You have the potential to do amazing things. And through positive affirmations, you start to build that confidence. Think of all the goals that you've made in the past. Think about the mindset you were in at that moment. It was one of confidence and control. I will be successful in my job. I will make my next promotion. I will meet the love of my life. These are words of affirmation. Now tell me, what are your words?
today to introduce the poem Stand Up American Woman, Stand Up. The poem appears in the book Women of Courage. This is a very important poem because it resolves our lives into one word: courage. Courage is fundamental to life. It is not necessarily discussed when considering everyday activities, but courage is essential to almost all human events. It takes courage to ask for a date. It takes courage to apply for a job. It takes courage to apply to college. In fact, it takes courage to stand in the face of any possible rejection, because there are negative soothsayers around us every day, offering antidotal possibilities of disaster. The underpinning of courage is motivation. How motivated are we to one another? How dedicated are we to another's well-being? How determined are we to right a wrong, to stand in opposition to a larger force? How do women face one another in the face of rape and/or murder? Do we avoid eye contact or stick our heads in the sand, leaving all readdress to someone else? Or do we stand? These are the questions the poem Stand Up American Woman, Stand Up explores. As you view our presentation, consider this question. Would you not want someone to help you when the hour is dark and you are standing alone? Picture yourself standing under a streetlight with cars passing you by. Do you not feel isolated, frightened, and alone? But what happens to your spirit if another woman walks up and stands beside you in the darkness, and the two of you begin walking together? If a second woman joins you, and the three of you walk in darkness, does your spirit not soar? We present the poem, Stand Up, American Woman, Stand Up.
Hi, I decided that at the end of every show for the next year, I would share excerpts from a book that I believe would enhance your life and make you a stronger thinker and problem solver. All characteristics that will help you win at life and raise stronger and healthy children. Many of you turn your nose up at reading, or you snub the advice that you must read in life to succeed, or you compare the cost of a book to getting a new pair of shoes or getting your hair done or your nails done. The reason why you make these cost comparisons is because you do not truly value a book. A book is a magnificent instrument that can change the course of your life and the lives of your children. In later shows, I plan to discuss with you how a book changed the lives of certain people. I understand that you do not earn a lot of money, and this money is valuable to you because of all the things you see advertised that you desire, and you do not want to spend a lot of money on a book. A new pair of shoes is more valuable to you than a book. If you truly cannot afford a book, then you need to go to the library and take your children with you for a day of reading. You must gird your loins and proceed at educating yourself. Some of you seem to think that having a conversation with your stupid girlfriend or your stupid boyfriend will help you more than reading a book, when actually having a conversation with your loudmouth girlfriend or loudmouth boyfriend is merely a cathartic, allowing you to blow off steam and proclaim how life has been so unfair to you. What you do not realize is that the advice coming from your do-nothing girlfriend or your do-nothing boyfriend is advice coming from a fool. Your do-nothing girlfriend is a sexual opportunist looking for a man she can impress with her body. When her vagina fails her, what will your girlfriend do but go to work at McDonald's or Wendy's at the age of 60 and continue to spread her ignorance at church? Her daughter will be on the street and her son in prison. She will never realize that her life is the result of the decision she made not to educate herself through reading. All her life, she felt that she had something better to do than reading. She had something better to do than reading with her children. She had something better to do than working with her children. And that was going to the bar, trying to entertain a man, or trying to find some man that would buy her a pair of shoes. A man spending money on her was more important than educating herself. In later shows, I'm going to spend a great deal of time giving you some examples of fools. These are people who think they are smart, willing to trade their body and integrity for a dollar bill. These people end up in the cemetery after lamenting each and every day of their lives about their unfulfilled dreams. Do not be upset by the use of the word fool. You tell me if a woman is not a fool to instruct her grandson to kill her husband for a $25,000 life insurance. Let that sink in for a moment. Instead of instructing her grandson to make something of his life, the grandmother instructs her grandson to become a murderer, to kill his grandfather. I have this anecdotal advice for you about reading. Listen to this short true story. A friend and I were talking. She said a woman she knew called her and sought to renew their friendship. During their conversation, the woman told my friend that President Trump had done so much for black people, and that's why she voted for him in 2016, and she was going to vote for him again in the upcoming election. My friend asked her a question. She said, "Tell me some of the things that Trump has done for black people." The woman said, "A whole lot." My friend persisted and asked her to name one thing that Trump had done for black people. The woman could not. The woman kept using the phrase, "a whole lot of things." My friend said after a while she stopped talking. Finally, the conversation was over and my friend hung up. My friend said, as she hung up, she made up her mind right then that she would never renew her friendship with this woman. Now ask yourself why. Why would she not renew her friendship with this woman? You can answer this question in 2 words. The woman was a poor thinker. She never investigated anything that was told to her. Whether you know it or not, a person who is a poor thinker, who does not examine his or her thinking, is a very dangerous person indeed. Think about it. Today I want to discuss the book, Be Not Defeated in Hard Times. I'm introducing this book to you because I want you to realize how much you can learn about your life and the lives of others by reading. It's important that you read. Please, please start reading because reading can truly change your life. This book talks to you about fighting, standing up for yourself, believing in yourself, and changing your life. When you are faced with adversity, every human being is called upon to stand up. This book is designed to give you the strength to do just that. One of our pocket-sized devotionals. With this book at your side, you can reach for encouragement, refreshment, and the strength to fight life's battles. You do not have to stick your head in the sand. You can stand up. We want to remind you that you can win at life. Life is a joyful experience that is supposed to be filled with happiness and at God's helm. This book will help you to stay mindful of your responsibilities to God and yourself. Your family will benefit from your diligence. Before you begin to read the book, Be Not Defeated in Hard Times, please read Isaiah 65, verse 24 several times. Now read the verse Jeremiah 33, verse 3. Read that several times. Now, God said in Isaiah 65:24, And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I shall hear. Firmly implant this verse in your mind so that every time you think of praying, you will say this to yourself: God is going to hear me. God said, before I finish praying, he shall answer me. Yet here I want you to stop for a second. There is one rub in this passage that sends people reeling. You will be right in believing God will hear you, and he will answer your prayer, but he may not answer your prayer as to way that you wish. He may provide what he thinks is right for you, but you may not be in agreement. What you pray for may not be what you need. Therefore, when we do not receive what we have prayed for, we think that there is not a God, or God doesn't care for us. You must understand that God can see further down the road than you. You may be praying to purchase your first Cadillac, but God knows one of your children will develop a life-threatening disease and you will need more money to hold your house together. So if you purchase a Cadillac, will you have to wait until the emergency blows over? Think about it. You will need that money if your child develops a life-threatening illness. Read Isaiah 65 verse 24 to yourself each day. This will keep you hopeful. It will give you courage to face the day. This passage tells you you can rely upon God. This passage is one of the most powerful verses in the Bible. It is the foundation of your relationship with God. He says, I shall answer you before you finish speaking. Man cannot perform this as well. Man has to consult his maps and charts before he can tell you about the weather. And man surely cannot tell you what will occur in the future. Count on God. That is correct. Count on God. Stop relying on the world to tell you what to do. Now consider this. In the 1960s, man told women that it was all right to shack up with a man. We will no longer judge you harshly. It is okay for you to have a baby and not be married. You can just stand on a mound of grass and pledge yourself to one another, and that will be fine. Well, what is the results of this promise? Devastation. We have 25 million children running around this country living without their fathers, and many of them have been turned into monsters. No, not one of these children is eligible for Social Security because they do not bear their father's name. Their father's name is absent from their birth certificate. The male children who have been abandoned are so filled with rage and anger that they are killing women at an escalated rate. There is a man sitting on death row in Tennessee, and he is an abomination to God. The sum total of his entire life merged into the destruction of two individuals who had never done him any harm. He murdered two strangers. How much anger he must have contained. I do not even know whether the word of God can help him. This man was sexually abused as a child, and he has not forgotten that abuse. In fact, the abuse is at the center of his thoughts every waking moment of his life. He saw two innocent people and unleashed his fury on the world. The world had destroyed his life with all its rules and regulations. Now he was going to destroy two innocent people. A murder like this also happened in Colorado, Texas, and California, where the sexually abused child responded to the world's rejection of him. Anytime society does not protect a child, that is rejection. Now, society can use its power to take a child from his mother, yet society does not use its power to protect that child from sexual abuse in the foster care system? The only thing our foster care system has done is accomplish the destruction of children. Why was there not work done to restore the family, correct what was broken, repair the broken psyche of the woman that was abandoned? No society should take a child from the bosom of their mother and let them be prey to sexual deviants who turn these children into alcoholics and dope addicts. Do you know there are women in this country with two sons on death row? The book goes on to discuss illicit drugs. It says illicit drugs is associated with suicide, homicide, and motor vehicle injuries, HIV infection, pneumonia, violence, mental illness, and hepatitis. At least 3 million individuals in the United States have a serious drug problem. Several studies have reported an undercount of the number of deaths attributed to drugs by vital statistics. However, improved medical treatment has reduced mortalities from many diseases associated with the illegal drug use. In keeping with the report by McGuinness, we include deaths caused indirectly by illicit drug use in this category. We use attributable fractions to compute the number of deaths due to illicit drugs. Overall, we estimate that illicit drugs use results in approximately 17,000 deaths in 2000, a reduction of 3,000 deaths from the 1990 report. The man who killed the two innocent people in Tennessee, he could not have been raised by a father. If he was, then his father was a very foolish, stupid man. The man on death row in Tennessee was created into this state because a woman believed the promises of a man. You can shack up with a man and have a child without the benefit of marriage, and it would be okay by the world's standards. She believed this man's promise, and the results of that promise was having a son waiting on death row until he is executed for 2 counts of first-degree murder. If you can believe the promises of man, why can you not believe the promises of God? Believe this. God says, before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I shall hear. God says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. In Isaiah 41:10, God said, do not fear and do not dismay. Do not lose courage or resolution or be alarmed. God said he will strengthen you and he will help you. God is not like man. He is not like man. He does not speak and make promises that he doesn't mean. If you are in trouble and you worry a lot, you need to read the book, Be Not Defeated in Hard Times. Go to the website, touchedbythelight.us, and read the first chapter of this book.
Life is at its best when you get to the mountaintop. Nevertheless, at times we lose our way and land in the valley. Adversity comes and shakes us in fear. What do you do at such a time? Where do you get your strength when it's gone? Be Not Defeated in Hard Times is the book you need to overcome such fears and gain back your strength. It's cheap, $10.95 only. To purchase this book, log into touchedbythelight.us/regular-publications before it's out of stock.
You can visit touchedbythelight.us and learn what our books have to offer to you. Become a sponsor of the Women of Courage show by inviting 10 women for a pleasant afternoon to listen to us speak at your venue. Help us change our community to one of peace and harmony. The Women of Courage show is supported by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries to help women problem solve and to help women realize their dreams. Women should believe that anything is possible. Our sole purpose is the restoration of injured women, both physically and mentally. We meet twice a month on Saturday at a local restaurant to discuss subjects germane to women. We see five main problems of black women that we must solve ourselves. One is the sexual abuse of children, bringing unrelated males into the home and fail to notice changes in behavior. Rape and murder of black women, failure to learn the warning signs, breast cancer, which is a failure to be examined, sex trafficking of black women, accepting prostitution as a way of life, economic trials of black women due to the inability to read or lack of education. Learn how to sponsor the Women of Courage show by speaking to our spokesperson, Renee of WHPR. She can be reached at renee88.1fm@gmail.com. I repeat, renee88.1fm@gmail.com. She will tell you all about it, or you can leave a message at the number 734-686-1444. Thank you. Join us at the Women of Courage show every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. for information that will change your life. You can also visit us at our website, touchedbythelight.us, for more information. Thank you. If you do not like your life, then change it. Listen to us when we broadcast, and we can help you find a new way.